Get in there. We're 2 minutes out, 2 minutes out. And hi, YouTube. We're live, McHenry County BS with Wela Financial today. So stick around. It's going to be good. Well, let's go live now onto that Facebook. Facebook people, how are you? Welcome to McHenry County BS. We're about a minute out. So thanks for joining us. We've got Wela Financial in-house today. So hang tight. We're going to get going. Welcome to McHenry County BS, where we love the BS. I'm Kent Jones with 216 The Net, and McHenry County BS is all about the small businesses that make McHenry County thrive. McHenry County BS is brought to you through the financial support of Prime Media Consulting, LLC. For more information about Prime Media Consulting, LLC, visit www.primemediaconsulting.com or give them a call at 847-752-0018. Now, let's dive into the BS. Business Spotlight, that is. Also, our new sponsor for this show, along with Prime Media, Wela Financial. And that's who we got in studio. We got Bill Haase, a member of the Wela Group, doing it the Wela way. And man, glad to have you here, Bill. You and I are longtime buddies. You've been on the couple other shows over the past history with us, and love to have you back, man. And thanks for being part of this McHenry County BS, where we spotlight those small businesses all over.
Thanks for having me back. Yeah, we've been going back a few years.
That's right. Crazily enough, right?
Yeah.
Which is great. So let's dive in. Alex, good to have you. I hope things are going well. On the trip. Stephanie Conley, hello, and of course, Phil Nasarino. Thanks for your support too, brother. Appreciate it. Wela Financial. What is it? Who is it? What do we do?
Well, you had Travis on the other day on
a new show you guys got.
New show that we just started up. Just trying to promote ourselves. It's a group out of Woodstock, part of a larger group in the Chicagoland area, as we learned. But the group in Woodstock is relatively new. We've got 6 agents now, with a couple more coming on soon. And we kind of spread out. We're from Rockford west to I work as much in McHenry and Lake counties.
Yeah.
So we're kind of spread out.
Wela Financial is a group of financial geniuses.
It's a group of folks who specialize in different areas. Some might be in life insurance, permanent life insurance. Some might be more into the financial side, the investing side. Then again, we'll have somebody who really can dig deep into the long-term care kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's portfolio balancing is really what it is.
That's it.
It's you got to put your portfolio into a good balance going into retirement, so that you know where you stand, you know what you're going to get, you know what you can expect, and a little peace of mind.
That's it. I mean, that's the big thing. Of course, Alex says, "Hey, I felt Bill's loaf the other day. It was moist."
Sorry about that. I'll clean that up for you, Alex.
Yeah, wrong show. Which is awesome. Now a little bit about we learned a little bit about Travis. He's the vice president over there, which is great. And here's the big question coming in from the audience is, what's the difference from going to a Fidelity or just playing the S&P 500 or Dow and going to a place like Wela Financial?
Well, if you're going straight to, so Fidelity is going to be a place where you go if you're investing in funds.
Yeah.
All right. That's really a big name in the fund industry, and a lot of folks go there. They do a great job. They've got a lot of good things to work with. You can look at historicals, but we always have to say, you can't base a future on the past,
right?
On what's happened in the past. Playing the S&P 500, you better know what you're doing. I spent 20 years in the trading pits. And I was in the world's largest trading pit, Eurodollars, interest rate futures. But my clients, we did a lot of S&P 500 and I used to trade them personally for a little while. It's the Wild West, and it's a fun game. And if you know what you're doing, you can do very, very well without risking a whole lot. But it's a huge risk if you don't know what you're doing. Same thing with the Dow. If you want to play individual stocks, I know people that are very good at it, and I know people that should never even be involved in it.
Sure. My father-in-law has played the market. It's what he and his dad love to do kind of as a hobby, and they figured it out. They've made good money.
Yeah.
But it is, I mean, it's a fast moving, high stress. Make sure
there's a big difference between, folks too, who are on Main Street.
Yeah.
I like to say I came from Wall Street to Main Street, and I thought that transition would be rather easy. And it was anything but.
Right.
It was night and day. But to be an individual trader and trying to make your way trading and day trading and things like that, a lot of folks do this nowadays. Some do well, but one of the biggest problems you run into is if you start off and you do very well and you hit a couple of good ones, you think you're smart now. You think you got this down, and that's when you get hurt.
Yeah. And going from Wall Street to Main Street, and bringing it back to the people, it's a different decision process, right? Because
entirely.
Because working with folks on Wall Street, they're somewhat what I would say a little bit more educated, and I think what makes you folks at Wela a little bit different and unique is you love to educate your clients. The interesting thing is, my financial education, if I hadn't worked in banks for 20 years, would be from what my father-in-law would have taught me about playing the stocks. And that's all I would have known.
I have this conversation a lot with folks. It's one thing we know is spouses don't talk about two things. You've heard me say this before. They don't talk about sex, and they don't talk about finance.
That's right.
And I always tell people I can help them with one of those. But you do have to educate people.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most difficult parts of our job is educating folks so they understand what they're getting involved in, what they're, where they're putting their monies and how it's going to work for them. Because I'll guarantee you, a half hour after you walk out of their home, after having a 3-hour conversation, they don't remember anything. Right. They can't put those numbers back together again. And you have to keep hammering it down. But it's, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. Yeah. You can tell me stuff when I'm in their offices, and I'm going to forget when I go out too. But one thing I know is I better go see a professional, and somebody who does know their business.
And how do I want to phrase this? So you talk with me and you tell me this, and I'm right here. I'm like, yeah. No, I get it. And then I leave, and 10 minutes later on the ride home, my wife is like, so do you understand any of that? I have no idea what he was talking about. I mean, that's got to be a huge hurdle.
98% of the time, probably.
Yeah.
So that's the case. And on top of it, so I'm working with a couple now, and they came back to me and they said, well, we talked to this other guy, and he can get twice the amount of income for us in retirement than, with the same amount of money using this product.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, but let me take a look at that, because it's just not possible. And so I take a look at it, and, sure enough, you have to be careful, because different people in different companies are trained different ways.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not going to name names or anything, but there's a company out there that trains their people to say, take 1970 from 1999, add up those 30 years and divide by 30, and the market was up 14.84%. Well, it's true if you do it that way. But if you put real money in, the real rate of return is only 5.24%. So to me, that's lying.
Sure.
And I have to run into this all the time. And this couple who came to me, I just saw the paperwork they were given to show that they thought they were making double, but they actually weren't. And they were being shown years in the past that let's just say it makes that product look a lot better. But are those exact same years going to happen again going forward? You don't know that.
Right. No, but
the reality is
crystal ball. Yeah.
And it's not going to.
Right.
You're not going to.
Alex says, and of course, folks, Alex Kolkowski with Prime Media, working remotely from Orlando, Florida. there's a ton of insurance agents, financial partners, planners, financial advisors, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What makes Bill Haase different? What makes Wela Financial different than the Edward Jones or someone else? Are you the stock tip guy that everyone is already trying to chase, or what sets you apart?
Yeah, I'm not the stock tip guy. There are things I can help people to understand how to play in that world.
Yeah.
Whether it's through analysis and other types of plays that go on from my background. But what sets us apart, I think, we want to be as fair and honest as we can be.
Mm-hmm.
We want to take a whole picture. We don't want to just try and sell you one product or one service or anything like that. Let's take a whole picture. If what you have in place is going to be good for you going forward, then hey, God bless you.
Yeah.
Nice move, smart move. That's because you planned and worked with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's any way in which we can help you, what we do is we provide you with opportunities and options to take advantage of at certain times in life. And that's a big key difference. We don't try to sell everything. It's okay. Here are some options for you. What do you feel works best for you?
Yeah.
And what you want? Because every single person, every single family, every single portfolio is different.
Yeah. Being in banking for as long as I was, the interesting thing is I've worked with financial advisors, and I saw a lot of financial advisors say just the same thing. Hey, this is for you. Yet they put everybody, whether you were 12 years old or 112 years old, in the same income producing because that's what I get paid on, right?
Yeah, well, right,
right.
And it's funny because I don't even know what I get paid. I don't know it. I know hundreds,
how you get paid,
hundreds
right?
And hundreds of products. I know how I get paid.
Yeah.
I don't know what I get paid for each of the products that I bring about, because it's not about that. It's about, okay, given this situation and this scenario and what you're looking for, here are the best options and opportunities. I'm not pushing the one that pays the highest commission out because I don't even know what they are.
That's awesome.
It's just not part of the equation.
And I think that's what sets you apart is, if I were to say, because I've known you for a long time, you're not the guy driving the Mercedes. You're not the guy living in a 8,000 square foot home. You're not the guy that has a yacht or a sailboat out on Lake Michigan and goes out every weekend. You're not Thurston Howe, right?
Yeah, and thank you for reminding me, because my wife didn't yet today.
But you're going to show up. You're the typical guy. I mean, you're the Main Street guy.
Well, I care.
Yeah.
When you're looking at putting somebody in a position where they have to live on the funds they've been able to put together throughout their lifetime, and they're going to live on that for the next 20, 25, 30 years, you can't take that lightly. And you have to be there. You have to let people know that you are going to be there, because life changes, things happen. You make adjustments. I mean, no plan is perfect from the get-go.
Yeah.
It's just a balancing act.
Yeah.
And
and I want everybody out there to understand is now if you are a financial producer, you're a fiduciary. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can be, yes.
Yeah, you can be.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that they have to take a look, and it's got to be in your best interest.
Absolutely.
And not their best interest.
And a lot of different applications to provide products, you have to prove that.
Yeah. And that's a wonderful thing for a lot of people now, right?
I didn't come into this industry until about almost 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
After taking a 10-year hiatus from leaving the trading pits, because when I did leave the pits, it was all about picking the pockets of your friends, your neighbors, your family, and I'm just like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But about 5 years ago, an old friend of mine came up to me and said, you really should look at this industry again. It's changed a lot. And it has. Has it, are there still bad apples out there? Absolutely.
Yeah. That's everything. There's bad, you know what? Believe it or not, folks, there's bad apples in the radio industry too. There just are.
Yeah.
Alex says, I see a ton of people they want to put their clients into annuities or whole life plans. What are these? are they the best for everybody?
Alex, thanks for bringing that up, because it's important. There are a lot of folks out there that just can't stand annuities, or just have bad ideas and thoughts about them. And the reality is
there's a lot of famous people right now who say, "Hey, don't do it." Right?
Yeah, and you know how they made their money? Selling annuities. Not kidding you. But those are both very, very important parts of a portfolio. They're used for different reasons. Whole life is not for a death benefit. Whole life is used for living benefits. Okay. So whole life builds cash value that can be used in a variety of ways, tax-free, later in life, as needed. For, you might even use a whole life policy instead of a long-term care. If you don't feel you're going to need long-term care, you can pull money out of a whole life. Annuities bring guaranteed income. All right. So let's say I need $5,000 a month in retirement to live on. Yeah. That's going to be the nut I have to have every month. So how do we get that out of the funds I have and with what's going on? So, okay, well, let's look at this. You and your wife combined are going to make about $2,800 a month in Social Security. All right. So what do we have left? We have $2,200.
And this is, again, just an example we're making.
Yeah, absolutely. Just an example. So we can put some funds into an annuity that's going to guarantee that $2,200 a month. Now you've locked in your paycheck.
Right.
Okay. That's the paycheck side. Then you have a playcheck side. And that's where you get to have the fun. You still have monies that are invested in other areas and in different products and things that you can use to play with.
Yeah.
But
and I think it's important. Both of those are insurance products.
Yes,
right.
Insurance based. Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, insurance companies, if you have that product, they have to have the cash on hand, right? I mean, they back that. An insurance company does, right?
Oh, the insurance company does. Well, so there are different types of annuities.
So you can't really lose money.
Well, there are annuities that you can lose money on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There are annuities that can guarantee that you don't lose money on. All right. And that you can have a fixed income annuity that's tied to the markets that takes advantage of the upside with a cap.
Yep.
Limitations on the upside, but will 100% protect you on the downside. All right. So you get a little bit of growth with the market on the upside. The idea for folks getting into that is maybe they have 10, 12 years before retirement. And they want to pull some of their money out of the market because they don't want to have 100% at risk anymore. Yeah. And that's a wise move, because we've had a good run here.
Yeah.
We don't know how long it's going to last. And
right.
I'm not going to say one way or another which way I think the market's going, but it's been a good run, and you need to lock some money in.
There you go. And of course, this gentleman to my right, Bill Haase with Wela Financial. If people want to find you, how do they find you?
Well, we are well out of in Woodstock, so we can be found that way. I can also be contacted directly at my last name, haase.bill@gmail.com. I can get a hold of me.
What is it, 855 I am Wela or something?
That's the general Wela number. If you want me directly, my cell's 847-942-4028.
Yeah. And of course, McHenry County BS, we highlight businesses here, and we brought Wela Financial in because now they are a proud sponsor of this show. And a wonderful thing is, with that, all of our business owners, you're offering to do a
free
business valuation.
So
we'll take somebody like a Prime Media, and you're saying that, hey, because you've been on and been part of McHenry County BS, they can give you a call and you can have a free business valuation.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround. It's a 2-page form to fill out. You fill that out, you get it back to us. We'll get it back to you within 48 hours.
And why is that important for business owners?
A variety of reasons. Maybe they have partners and they need buy-sell agreements updated. Maybe they need, maybe they're looking at purchasing benefits for their employees. Okay. Maybe they need to get involved in other products like Key Man Insurance. Maybe they're doing succession planning.
All right.
Maybe they're looking to sell their business. Or maybe they're looking to borrow more money. There's lots of things.
And I know you and I have talked over a couple of cocktails, but oddly enough, it's interesting that most business owners really, they're off on what they think they're their business's value.
Well, we all love our own babies,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Our babies are the most beautiful.
Just don't call them ugly.
Yeah, you don't know the true value until you go to sell it.
Yeah.
And the sad part is most business owners are going to sell their business, and that's their retirement.
Yeah.
And they may not have taken a lot of money out of it. And what happens? You make a widget, and all of a sudden, the world's biggest widget maker moves across the street 2 years before you're planning to sell and get out. Now you've just lost complete value.
Right.
Or you want to sell it to your children. Well, how are you going to finance that? How are you going to fund that? And what happens if something happens to you as a business owner? How is your business going to continue to move forward without taking too big a hit?
I think that's pretty cool. And it's not just people who come on and businesses we spotlight. You do that for any business. Yeah, absolutely. Which is fantastic. Mary Shep asks, what do people do that don't have enough, quote unquote, for a financial planner? What do you do when you have less than 30, 40, 50,000 to invest? Planners seem to only want to talk with you if you have more than, well, I would say probably more than $250,000 in a lot of cases.
A lot of cases, they won't talk to you with under 500,000.
Yeah.
That's true. But we'll talk with anybody at any stage because we can at least provide a picture. Yeah. There are options. There are things you can do. But you're right. It's difficult when you don't have enough funds, but you can find ways to grow those funds. The earlier you start, the better off you are, obviously.
Yeah.
Always. But, there's a lot of folks that they don't plan.
Right.
Because we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
And so we don't plan. And what happens to those folks are one of two things. They either pass and they have a whole bunch of money left over, or they run out of money and they're still got years to go.
Yep.
Those are the only two things that can happen.
Welcome to Walmart.
If you don't put a plan in place. But we help folks, and don't think that all advisors charge. I don't charge consulting fees.
Yeah. And the amazing thing, Mary, I think what I found in my lifetime are the ones who won't talk to you or help you out. They're the ones who are just worried about their pockets. You're a small fry. I'm looking for the Moby Dick.
Well, you brought up that the comment that I don't drive fancy cars, live in big homes and yachts and everything else, and that's very true. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
I've had some folks talk to me and say, "Why, the other guy I was talking to was driving a Mercedes, so I think he must be really good at what he does." Well, he's good. He's probably really good at taking your money,
or you are financing that car for him.
Yeah.
Alex says, I've seen a lot of commissioned financial guys who are all about the commission, and they put you in the wrong plans because it nets them 5% more commission, etc. He says, I'm glad Bill isn't that type of person. I was always taught you should be in mutual funds versus individual stock. It's a safer bet. Do you agree with that philosophy? And what would you think would be a good diversified portfolio?
Alex, you're on cue today.
Set up appointment.
A diverse portfolio. So mutual funds, individual stocks, bonds, REITs, ETFs. Any of these investments, keep one thing in mind. You're in the market.
Yeah.
You're always in the market. So is it diversification if I have some in bonds and some in the IT sector of the business and some in the banking sector and some of the other different industrial sectors and things like that. That is diversifying. But when the market goes down, it all goes down.
Yeah.
Market goes up, it all goes up.
Alex, go ahead. Send me that valuation, Bill. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'd love to. I wants to see if it's worth plus or minus $10. Well, it's probably gone down since you have employees now, Alex. It's Pete, thanks for joining us. That's it. Yeah, that's right. You got to pay for that big banner behind us somehow. So there you go. I do my homework when a guest comes into the studio. He says, plus I'm SMRT, smirk, which is good. So it's like anything, though, when it comes to financial, and Wela kind of is that group as well. As I might have the Babe Ruth rookie card in mint condition, and it values out at $1 million. If I never sell it, I never get $1 million. Right.
There you go.
And your business.
Did you go through the Beanie Baby craze?
Yeah. Didn't we all? Right. And now you get 50 cents for them.
Yeah.
But I mean, so that's kind of is helping Wela Financial, and especially you, Bill, work with people to help them understand where you are in the bell curve of that Babe Ruth rookie card.
Yeah, it's a matter of it's putting things into perspective, and it's giving a peace of mind that this is where you stand. Because what happens with most folks is they wake up around 52 to 60 years old, whenever the last kid's finishing college, and they go, okay, what's next? Retirement. Oh crap! Where do I stand?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've had people with a few $1 million that were in a panic, thinking they just didn't have enough, and I'm like, you are going to live much better than most. And then I have people, that don't have a lot, and it's like, okay, well, what can we do? And again, you can do things, but it's perspective. It's getting just that overall picture.
Yeah.
Say, okay, here's where you stand now. If you do nothing, here's what you can expect. And here are options to maybe make it look better.
And the other unique thing I think out there with Wela is it's not a, hey, let me just check in with you once a year.
Yeah.
Let me, it is, you guys are, y'all are very intertwined into people's lives, and
more clients are friends.
Yeah,
they become friends. They become part of the family, and we'll throw events throughout the year to invite all our clients and friends out to join us at it. I personally throw a party once a year and invite all my clients and cook for them and stuff, and it's important just to stay in touch and stay in somebody's life, because at any time life can change.
Right.
And you really need to be able to make adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to freak people out and be cooking breakfast in their right in their kitchen some morning, and they come, oh my gosh, there's my financial guy.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But
he's making crepes. It's nice. But I think that's what makes Wela Financial unique. I think that's why Prime Media and 21.6 wanted to share this spotlight with you, because you guys are that way. You run it like a very small business that is hands-on, compassionate about your clients.
We care.
Yeah, you really do.
And I think, so many of the people in this industry are people who care.
Yeah.
We all say we care. We all say we want to help people. And in some small way, I think each of us in our own way do. It's a matter of taking your gift, sharing it with others that don't have that gift or don't have that, financially, I forgot who commented earlier, but the woman was saying, what it costs, and right. It's like, well, I said, I don't charge any consulting fees or anything, but people should also understand the idea is to use existing funds and just to balance a portfolio with that. It's not to pull more money out of your pocket.
Right.
It's just to put it in a more efficient vehicle, and thank you, to make it work best for you.
And that's the thing. If you can, talking with you and Travis, the interesting thing is there's a lot of different cars out there that on the road, whether it's a Prius, whether it's an electric car, whether it's a big 4x4, whatever. There's a lot of different vehicles to get you from A to B. And it's up to you, the consumer, to say, okay, well, I don't need a big pickup truck, but I'll take this big SUV. That's the same way with people's financial futures. Is there's a lot of different vehicles that you can take. Your job is to try to help them understand which one might suit their family the best.
Yeah, and quite honestly, there's thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of vehicles out there that can be used. But the reality is you want to just, some of the key factors, you want to make sure you're working with solid, well-established businesses and companies. Whether it's an insurance company, you want to work with the best. And in the finance folks' world, you want to work with the best. I'd rather invest people's money into funds that have been around 40, 50 plus years that have a great track record, have a great manager, than something that's brand new and it's just, it's the flavor of the day.
Yeah.
Because those rarely work out.
Well, and the other thing too, and again, this gentleman to my right, your left, as you're watching on the big screen, is Bill Haase from Wela Financial. And Bill, if people want to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Can reach out to us at 855 I am Wela. My personal cell 847-942-4028. My email address is my last name, Haase, HAASE.Bill at gmail.com.
That is awesome. But here's another unique thing about Bill that I know. Number one is he does never badmouth anybody in the industry. And number two is if you are absolutely headed in the right direction, he's going to be like, keep going. You are headed in the right direction.
Good job.
And he's not going to say, well, you're doing well, but boy, you should tweak over here to try to make it seem like the person you're dealing with isn't doing the right job. That's not who you or Wela is.
No.
You are, hey man, stay right where you're at. I've heard you say that.
Yeah. If you're in a good position, you're in a good position. It's you can't.
Your smiling face isn't going to make it better.
I'm not going to move money around for the purpose of moving money around. So I can make a commission. It's like you won't see on a quarterly basis a statement from me that shows transactions all over the place.
Right.
Like some of the ones that I see when I review, and it's just some of the stuff I see when I review some investment statements.
A lot of stuff going on here.
A lot of stuff going on out there.
Right.
It's I'm.
Your money shouldn't be on a treadmill.
No, it should not be on a treadmill. And I've seen it. I've seen it quite often.
Right. Outside of word of mouth, referral business, those type of things, what do you do to generate more leads and more people to talk to?
I'm a people person, so I got to get in front of people.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of networking, and you know that. I belong to 2 great chambers. And I do as much as I can with each one. I get on committees or ambassadorships and things like that, and try and build a reputation. It's really the most important thing. The first thing I like to do is build a trust.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and sell you something and then build a trust. Let's get a little relationship going here, and then if you like me, we can move forward a little bit. I mean, I've had people call me and say, we're ready to go. We want to give you some money. We want to do this. And I go, why don't we just sit down and have a conversation first? Right, let's see if we even like each other, because I'm not going to work with everybody or just anybody. There are plenty of folks that I just can't work with.
We will here at 21.6, folks. You just give us your money. We'll work with you. I think that's the easiest way to put it. That's my pitch, Pete. There it is. So you got that. Bill, what is one thing?
You got that right, Phil.
What is one thing that someone told you along your journey that has stuck with you? Not necessarily in the financial business, but in your business life. What is it that somebody told you that you've held on to?
Never give up.
Just that.
That's Is
there a story behind that?
Probably about 1,500 stories behind that. But
I was at Panda Express and I opened up the fortune cookie and it said, never give up.
Life brings on a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
And it's ups and downs, whether it's relationships, marriage, kids, work life. 20 years in the trading pits, I call myself a survivor. Yeah. When I started down there, I was told 1 in 10 of you last 30 days, and I made it 20 years. And let me tell you, I was this gray as, when I was almost 30 as I am now, a little bit older than that.
Right. At least 35.
It can really beat the daylights out of you, but it was also one of the most exciting things. I mean, I loved it, but you can't give up. And there's I had a certain time on that trading floor where things didn't go well, and I was literally running around the backside of the pit and throwing up and getting a glass of water and turning around and running right back in that pit and saying, "Damn it, fix it."
Wow. That's amazing. So it's always just stick to it, grind it out. And,
just don't ever
that
give
hamburger.
up. You just never know. And when you're in sales, it's a tough world, right? You're dependent on making sales. And if you're in 100% commission, which I have been almost all my life, you're going to have good times and bad times.
Yeah.
But just don't give up.
It's got to stick with it. Numbers.
Yeah. It can turn on a dime at any moment.
Yeah. Now, as we take a look at your business, and this is something that you'll hear a lot this month on this show, is the internet has changed the way that we do business. Every business. I mean, thank God for the internet, because that's what 21.6 the net is, and we're poking holes into some of the old time radio people. As a matter of fact, streaming and everything else is putting, making it hard to have a quote unquote regular type radio station. The interesting thing is that it's changed your landscape so much. I mean, hey, we see commercials, hey, you start with $5, what is Wela Financial? What is Bill doing to say we can still play in that same field?
Well, we're acquiring knowledge and understanding of some of the better methods. Obviously there's certain ways on through IT to connect with different age brackets and different groups and different income groups and stuff like that. We're educating ourselves on those ways. I mean, thank goodness for all these new ways to come about, because nobody answers their phone anymore.
No.
If you don't know that, you don't recognize that phone number, nobody answers it. I haven't done cold calling in a while.
So my voicemail says, hey, I haven't checked a voicemail in 15 years. So send me a text.
Yeah, you're right. And then you delete that.
That's right.
But so you have to, life changes.
Yeah.
You gotta be able to adjust and move forward. And we're trying to do that. I'm looking at a couple of different things right now that to take advantage of some of the newer technologies. And I'm a little bit older, so I'm a little slower to
but
take
you're
action.
But you're not afraid to play in the game.
No,
I mean, you understand and there's another. I mean, I know a lot of financial houses that, hey, we've done business this way for 100 years, and it works. Right?
Yeah, they do. They do.
And it does work for them. That's their business model. However, Wela is saying, well, maybe there's a couple different avenues we can go to help people.
Yeah, we aren't tied in. We are under the One America umbrella, which is an amazing company, one of the finest in the industry, in the insurance and finance industry. 150-year-old out of Indianapolis, but there are several good companies out there. Some are stuck in their ways, some are stuck in those old ways, and others are let's lead the pack. I mean, one of the things I loved most about One America when I first came to it was they had some of the best insurance policies. They arguably the best long-term care policy, and they were tweaking it to make it better. Like you're already written up in all the magazines that this is the best policy, yet you're still trying to make it better. How could you not want to work for a company like that?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's impressive, and that's a good feeling to have.
Yeah, but we're open to we can do other businesses with other companies. So hence we talk about hundreds and thousands of tens of thousands of opportunities, options that can come into play. True, but the reality is it's not that many when it comes down to who's the best, who gives you the most bang for the buck, who's the most efficient, who's going to be around, who can you count on to actually pay off on these products, because anybody who owns long-term care policies from 20, 30 years ago are learning right now that, wrong companies.
Yeah.
Bad companies.
Companies aren't around.
I mean, it went from 100 companies selling that to maybe 10 now.
Yeah.
15.
Then that's I mean, that's interesting. I mean, well as we can cover that at Wela.
Yeah,
there's a lot of financial houses out there. If you go to a bank, they're not going to deal with the insurances. They're not going to have the entire package that Wela is able to handle.
Well, so yes, there are folks that are out there that are agents are typically leaning one way or another. They're either more on the insurance side or they're more on the finance side. That's why when I came back into this industry, that I knew you had to have a balance of both, and I had to find that right home, and I did. But what I found along the way, there's just a lot of companies out there that we're just going to focus on the insurance side, or we're just going to focus on the finance side. They'll tell you they do both sides, but they don't. They don't do them well.
No, they don't.
Because that's not what their focus is, and that's not what they've been doing for 100 years.
Right. Exactly. Alex says that the no like trust method is great. It's important, but he prefers the pool of disturbed complacency. Right. So one is a long-term prayer. The other, which can be, shooting fish in a barrel. When it comes to disturbed complacency, that's shaking people up a little bit, maybe getting slapped across the face. What in your industry is that disturbed complacency? Is it when the market takes a tank, or what is it that?
Well, I'm finding a lot of people are in tune with what's going on in the market, right? So they every day they want to kind of know where that market went that day. And this was so true when I went to visit my father down in Florida, my parents, and when they were in retirement, I had the pleasure of playing golf or something with them, or going out, and everybody would go home and they would check the market right away, because that's where their money is, and they're afraid.
Yeah.
Not a great way to live in retirement.
Right.
I'm sorry, but that's not how I want to live. I want to be
the golfing part is,
and it's still true today. I think complacency, though, and disturbances is you got all your money in this basket. Say it's your 401k at work.
Yep.
And then you come along and somebody like me comes along and says, you're retiring in 5 years. Maybe we should pull some of this out of the market so you're not at risk, putting all of your money at risk here. And we could do something with that is more protective, and maybe get some guaranteed income going forward. People are, that sounds like a good idea. I don't want to take that 36% hit we took in 2009. That would change my whole retirement plan. So let's do that. And then you go set it up, and it says, okay, now it's time to move the money from here over to here. And I don't want to let it go.
Right.
It's like, but we're only moving it from here,
taking it out of the left pocket
and putting it in the right pocket, and the right pocket's going to be more protective. So we're actually putting you in a better position, but it's the sheer fact of just simply moving money, and it can be large quantities, and that's disturbing to people, because that's when you see that big question mark go off in their head, because all of a sudden they're like, maybe I don't really understand what we were talking about.
Right.
And that's a good time to have. True. That's the time to have a good conversation, because don't tell somebody something unless they understand it.
Alex says, hey, that is a smart strategy. When the market's solid, you mark protection and unrest. When the market is down, you pitch stability and comfort. Man, it's the opposite game. So,
markets are tricky.
Yeah. Well, I was at my daughter's high school. They have, hey, prepare for her senior year, a little deal. And now the district is now offering financial literacy classes.
That's awesome. I know.
And I'm like, yes, hey, that needs to happen. And so I go, what does it entail? And it entails a budget, how to do a budget, how to balance a checkbook, things like that. And I go, all important, because I don't think enough people today understand that. Being in banking for 20 years, certainly nobody uses or knows how to balance a checkbook. I got about this much in there. I'm good till next payday. But then there's economics, an economics class that they can now take, which is good.
Yeah.
Which helps them understand some of these things. I remember as a kid, I mean, the big thing for us to do, and I think why the stock market has such a pull to it, is we all did the stock market game in 8th grade or 9th grade, right?
Okay.
Where it's like, hey, here's how much money you have, pick
Right.
some stocks and follow them.
Call that paper trading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do that for a number of weeks, and you see if you've made money or lost money. And you know, I was always taught, you know, by my father, you put money in the sins, you know, tobacco, alcohol, gambling. Right? You always
just those three.
Well, for this show,
you know, yeah, you know, it's all we know is investing.
Yeah.
All right. When we got rid of pensions, we got rid of one of the two economic powers.
Yep.
The risk in the market economic power, and then the actuarial, which is the insurance side.
Yeah.
Once you get rid of the insurance side, you got rid of the protective side. No more guaranteed income. Pensions are nothing more than really an annuity.
Sure.
And so, you know, you need to bring that back into play. That's part of balancing a portfolio, is getting that protective side back in. But people are not comfortable because all they know is I've been in a 401k, or I've got an IRA, or I've got a Roth, and I'm paying these fees for these people to watch us. And by the way, if you're paying fees and your money's all in mutual funds, you got to ask yourself, why am I paying fees? Why would I pay asset management fees if we're not going to do anything but put it in a fund and watch it grow?
Yeah.
You know, it makes no sense to me. But a lot of companies, that's a requirement. It's, if you're going to go with them, then you have to pay a fee. But
because I can hide the fact that you're paying a fee, and you're going to feel good about it.
You'll get your statement. I guarantee you won't have a clue how much you're paying.
That's it.
I've never known anybody to show me a statement. I say, where in here does it tell you that how much it's costing you?
Yep.
I don't know.
I
can't. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't. And there's a reason why those statements look all
well,
weird and funky.
I think, you know, Ray Zielinski from Zielinski Auto Parts said it best. You know, what the American public doesn't know makes them the American public. And
Good God,
right?
I like that.
And the interesting thing is that most of us are too proud to say, I don't know. I don't understand what you're talking about. And I'm scared to give you my money because I don't know what you're talking about. And when that happens, then I don't put my family or myself in a good position. You can literally sit here and talk about mutual funds and bonds and things like that. And it's like, wop, wop, wop. Wow, 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 to me.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I'm the kind of person that I don't shy away from telling anybody anything, whether it's my failures, successes, or whatnot. I have no issues because if it helps somebody else, you know, years ago I lost my home. I didn't hide that from anybody. I think that's an experience that has taught me some good lessons, and certainly gave me a greater sense of value of the almighty dollar. But be upfront, be honest. I mean, there's basically the two kinds of folks: those who don't want to talk about it because they don't want to feel like they don't want to come across as being not very smart or intelligent in that area. But again, this is about going to professionals. You go to a plumber to fix your pipes. You go to an electrician to fix your electricity. You go to a contractor to build your home. Yeah. You know, we do these things, but there are folks that are wide open though.
Well, how do you deal with that? I'm too proud to. I think you could do a lot of good with my money, and we have people, we have friends, we have acquaintances, people that we see at the gym on a constant basis, people we go out and have a beer with, and we go back to that no, like, or trust. But I'm too proud to tell you that I don't know, and I don't have any money.
Yeah.
Or I don't have what I feel is probably enough for you to do something with. How do you deal with that? Because you have to run into that a ton.
There's a difference between somebody who's ready and someone who's not ready.
Yeah.
And we can tell, those of us who've been around a little while, we can tell who those are. And it's a no pressure situation. I mean, like I said, my first thing I do with folks is let's just have a conversation.
Yeah.
And from there, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn as much about you as I can. And it's not about how much money you got in the bank or in the 401k. It has to do with everything. You're married. What are your hobbies? I want to learn. Are you a skydiver? Well, you're probably not going to be a good thought for getting some insurance if you're jumping out of a plane all the time. But, things like that. So you learn about the people and you learn about their dreams and their hopes and their wishes. And that helps you start to develop an idea.
Yeah. My money is buried in my backyard. Well, that's because my septic was broke.
Yes.
Thank you very much, folks. Stick around for the veal, right? But that's an interesting concept, and not many people, a lot of people in your industry that I know will dismiss those people. Like, all right, fine, whatever. If you're not going to talk to me, I'm going to go out and find that person who's ready to talk.
Well, to me and to the folks that I work with at Wela, we're all kind of the same way. It's not about how much money you have.
Yeah.
If you come to us and you have a concern or you have an issue or you want to learn about something, that's what we're there for.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unwritten oath.
Yeah.
That it's like, fine. What's your issues? What are your concerns? And, the woman talked about, what if I only have 20 or 30 or $40,000? It's like, and you bring up the budget. Well, I have a budget program I can provide to you. Fill in the blanks. Let's see where you're at. And then let's see how we can get you moving forward instead of just sitting here worrying about how am I going to move forward? What's going to happen?
Yeah. So I've got $100,000 home equity line of credit that I pay about 3% on. Mm-hmm. Should I take that money and invest it with you? And I'm going to pay 3%. You're going to make me what? 14, you said earlier?
Yeah. You don't borrow money to provide it to somebody like me. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't believe in that. You're going into debt on one side. You're trying to make money on the other side. And
but you've heard of it, right?
I have heard of it,
yeah.
Buy term and invest the rest, when it comes to insurance and it's a sales pitch.
Crazy.
It's a marketing plan. It's not reality. It's term is use it and lose it, and other types of insurance actually gain cash value and do pretty well.
Yeah, you can. Which is great. I'm just checking our time, Arrow. We got good. We're good. The voice that you're hearing outside of mine is Bill Haase. Bill's a good friend of the show now with Wela Financial, who is also partnering with Prime Media to financially support this show. And we're glad to have you guys on with us. And of course, your company as well, Mondays at 2 p.m. here on 21.6 has a quick 15-minute show every week called Going to the Wela.
Going to the Wela, just each week pick a different subject, a different topic, and just kind of give a little concentrated blurb on it and trying to be educational.
That's it, because it's a great concept, and that's truly who you guys are, you guys and gals, to your core. And it's amazing what you're doing, and I see a renewed spark in you, which is exciting.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to be with Wela. I'm thrilled to have the opportunities I do and to meet the people I need and to sit down and talk and learn different people, what's going on in their lives and what are their expectations, what are their dreams, what are their desires, and to be able to try and find ways to help them achieve those goals. It's fun. I love it.
So for retirement purposes, there's a great man, Tony Soprano was his name. And he said, buy real estate because God ain't making more. Good or bad way to invest.
He must be a doctor. Doctors are well known for wanting to invest in real estate. And real estate is almost a guaranteed loser because by the time you're done paying the taxes and the upkeep, and the interest on all of that, so you buy a house for $300,000 and you own it for 20 years and you get to sell it for $400,000. Woo! I made money. Yeah, but you were paying $18,000 a year in taxes.
Right.
Okay. And you had to pay for upkeep, and that furnace went, and that new roof went.
Yeah.
And you lost money.
Yeah, the septic goes.
On the other hand, if you're rented for those 20 years, at the end of 20 years, you don't have a house that you can sell and get $400,000.
That's right.
And keep whatever difference of what you owe, and or maybe you own it outright. But so there's that balance. You can look at it both ways. But and then there's the investment properties. Okay, and that's if you like headaches, that's a good industry. I'm not somebody
partial
who
to that.
no, and in Illinois, it's not a real smart idea.
No, the only way it is if you buy it for pennies on the dollar, you get rid of it before you make a payment.
That helps.
that always helps. Which is something. Which is cool. Got about 4 minutes left. Anything you want to leave the listeners and the group with?
I sit there at all these events and things that I go to, and when I have an opportunity to speak, the one thing I always say is please go see an advisor. I just sit down and talk with an advisor, regardless of what point you are in life or what age you are, because there's always things to learn and to know about that you can take advantage of. Maybe if it's not now, maybe it's 5 years from now, and you can say, all right, 5-10 years, I need to look at this. I need to start thinking about this. But you need to talk to a professional. If you're going to try and go into retirement on your own without talking to somebody, good luck. Yeah. I mean, start with Medicare and have fun with that.
Yeah.
All right. And that's not even, because you're going to pay yourself. There's things that go on in retirement. The first thing that happens is you lose your identity.
Yeah.
You're not the president of the company anymore. Right. Now you're just Joe Schmo on a street corner like anybody else.
That's it.
And you got to get over that. You got to get over. You got that 3 months of euphoria where every day's Saturday, and just remember every day is Saturday. And what do you do on Saturdays? You go out and spend money. So now you got every day to go out and spend money. How are you going to account for that?
Every day is a Saturday.
That paycheck's gone.
Yeah.
Where's that coming from?
Yeah. Well, what you could do is tune into 21.6 The Net.
You can do that.
Well, that's a good way to spend your retirement. But here's my piece of advice to everybody who's listening out there is, number one is, if you have not been at the same job for the last 25 years, you probably have an old 401k that needs to be looked at. It's probably sitting someplace not doing what it's supposed to do. Bill can help you with that. If you are a business owner and you haven't been a business owner for 25 years, or even if you have, get together with Bill. Call him over there at Wela Financial. Give him a shout, because he can help you with a business valuation totally on the house.
Yeah.
Absolutely free. These things usually will range anywhere from probably $1,500 to $10,000, depending
they're usually
on
about between $3,500 and $10,000. It depends. CPAs do them.
Yeah.
But they're usually and take a long time. We'll get it done right away for you. And it's a good time of year to do that.
With a group of people who've been trained to read the report, to understand your business, and help you with that.
Yeah, it's not my review.
Right.
It goes into a team that we have that do the deep dive on that. We like to stay within our areas of expertise.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you I'm an expert at that.
Right. But, he's a great chef, though. That's just a little side note. So if people wanted to do that, they wanted to talk about maybe an old 401k or let you take a look at their financial statement as we roll into 2020 to make sure they are on the right paths, how do they get in touch with you?
You may call on my cell phone number as 847-942-4028, or you can use my email address is Haase, HAASE.bill@gmail.com. You can call 855 I am Wela.
Yep.
And ask for me. You can look up Wela Financial in Woodstock.
Right off the square, right off the historic Woodstock Square.
Right across from the Opera House.
That's it. Right behind Two Yolks.
Yeah, it's a great area.
The two yolks.
The two yolks.
Which is absolutely great. Well, folks, that's going to put a button on this show. Of course, you've been listening to 216 The Net, where you get your daily dose of encouragement. And we have just a plethora of great shows. Check us out at www.216thenet. Go to our YouTube station, subscribe, follow us there, as we have most of our shows on there as well, and or check out our podcast from all the shows that are out there. Tonight from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. is On the Bump with Jeff Young, Jim Marshall, and of course Patrick Newt, which is a fantastic show. But for the lineup again, check it out. Now, keep in mind too, folks, this week or next, we will be launching our brand new website. It's going to be a little bit more user friendly. You're going to enjoy it, and we're really looking forward to that. So for all of us here at 216 The Net, thanks and have a great week.
Thank you.
See you later, Facebook people. And our good friends on YouTube. Bye-bye.